Hello, race fans, and welcome to North Wilkesboro Speedway for the BNR Cup Series. Back again. We've had a good gap in between the last race. So we've got 150 laps to run here tonight. Joined with me, as every Saturday for the BNR Cup Series, is Will Roberts. Will, how are we tonight? It's been quite a bit since I talked to you. At least 2 weeks, I think.
Yes, indeed, Chris. It's been a good week. Uh, a couple of weeks, yes, because Memorial Day and so forth. Hopefully, everybody and yourself has had a good Memorial Day holiday. It's not necessarily, about yourself. It's more about, military service personnel and those who have served and sacrificed and so forth. But anyway, it's still considered a holiday, right? Um, Family get-togethers and so forth. North Wilkesboro this evening, Chris. Yes, indeed. This old historic oval short track, in the farm fields of North Carolina, just down the road from Charlotte, down the road from Winston-Salem, and you will find yourself in Wilkes County, North Wilkesboro Speedway here. Starting grid, Chris.
Starting off in the pole is going to be Samuel Archibald with Brandon Moore to his outside. Row number 2 is going to have John Tiller and Chris Cornett. Row number 3, Brian Huntley and Chris Campbell. Row number 4 is going to have Nathan Line and Josh Small. Welcome back, Josh. He has been absent for quite a while this season. Good to see him back finally. And bringing up the rear of the field is going to be Aaron Bradford and Zach Deutscher. Looks like the pace car is going to take him around one more time, Will.
Yes, indeed. It's something new. Recently, in the past few updates, iRacing on the short tracks are also the admins, our league owners can extend, but I think on the short tracks, it's been integrated to where you are given another pace lap to get heat in the brakes and tires and so forth. So Archibald with the pole in that WBLR Foundation car. That's kind of an inside running joke with everybody that I'm friends with. But anyway, John Tiller third, Brandon Moore way outside. So Zach Deutscher starting shotgun of the field. Here we go. Green flag is out. We are racing here in North Wilkesboro, Chris. Multi-groove track. That outside can be probably the one to go. I'm surprised Archie didn't pick the initial outside lane to start us off. Brian was pretty fast in practice that we can remember, right, Chris? So he's probably going to be one to keep an eye on, maybe medium to long run pace. If he can get in the zone, he can be something to watch on short tracks. We've seen it in the past. Martinsville, he's 2 times Martinsville winner in the BNR series. So gotta look out for Brian.
Absolutely, Will. I know he's been running some of the when the officials were here at North Wilkesboro. He was running those, so he's got a couple weeks of running this track. So I'm absolutely on board with watch out for him.
Yeah, he did a lot of officials here at North Wilkesboro. He did quite a few, so aren't correct about that.
His balloon's way up in the sky still, Will. Archibald continuing to lead down in the turn number 3 and through 4. Coming up the grab lap number 6. Tiller in second, Huntley third.
Nathan Line, 8.5 seconds off the pace. Obviously, him and Tiller did not share notes, or maybe the same setup. One can only assume.
Yeah,
because you got to remember, 27 and 38 are teammates. So maybe just a rough track for Nathan, or maybe he had something on the start here.
Well, it's showing that he jumped to the pits.
Oh, okay.
So I guess he just wanted to start from the pits? I don't know, but and he's in the fences. We were watching that replay.
Good possibility of the car could have just swung out loose coming out of turn number 2, and he ventured down. Yep, got back onto the throttle. He thought the car was pointed straight, and he lit up the rears, spun the rears.
Pass for the lead right here. An attempt.
Yeah, Tiller was looking to the inside, but Archie had put his car to the middle to top. And if you can get the momentum worked up in that outside lane, it'll really get you going. It'll be a good roller coaster ride on that outside lane, and you'll get a good exit off. It'll may look like you're not going anywhere whatsoever. Tiller right there to the quarter panel, but he's gonna slot back in line. So Archie, Tiller, Huntley is the top 3. Brandon Moore 4th, and Zach Deutscher has moved all the way from 9th position, even though he started shotgun of the field 10th. So all the way up to 5th position at the moment. Deutscher has ran good here in the past at North Wilkesboro before. So, and he is getting better, I would have to say, after all the years of knowing Zach. He is getting better at short tracks as well. Like I said, that number 60 really fits Zach. If you was to know a bit more about Zach, Chris, you would probably agree that that would fit him as well. So behind Zach, you have AB Aaron Bradford in the number 20 car there. Christopher Campbell in 7th place. Cornette has fallen back now to 8th position. He was looking really strong after qualifying, I want to say, in, what was that, 5th position, 4th position. He was up there battling with Brian and them really early on, but now falling back here, 7.5 seconds back. Josh Small is in 9th, and of course Nathan Line in 10th position, and almost in the danger zone of going a lap down here. He's got a few more seconds left to give up. Caution is out 15 laps into the race, and Chris Cornette bringing out the caution here. So got a replay here, and we will see. Oh, trying to get back going, and he hops the curb down onto the left-hand side of turn 3. Oh, he touched the grass. That's all it took, was just to he barely, and I mean barely, Chris, he barely gets those tires on those left side tires. He halved them right there on the grass. With this good camera angle here, Chris, it's going to show us right here. Yep, nipping. He just nipped them, but that was enough for that car to just lose complete traction on the left side and just be like, what, where am I at? I'm no longer on a racetrack, the car thinks. And he's just barely gonna nip this left rear, but the the left front was probably all it took once he did. Oh man. So tough break there for Cornette. Like we documented, we just documented that he had kind of fallen off the pace there from about lap 5. He was up there really early on, like I said, battling inside the top 5, but now bringing out the first caution of incident here this evening. I need a sip of water, Chris.
All right, well, it looks like while we were watching those replays, everybody did come down pit road. So Archibald, Tiller, Huntley still the top 3. Campbell and looks like Josh Small picked up a bit of time on pit road. Up into 5th now.
Archie was able to hold that lead too, Chris, to a very surprising defense. Tiller was there all over the back of him like a bad rash, but he was able to hold that lead. Brian, like I said, we only got 15 laps there, but still that was a decent short run for Wilkesboro.
You know what? I think I just miscalled that. I don't think our top drivers did pit. I think that's how Josh Small got so far up there.
Deutscher pitted. He pitted from 5th. If you could pull that graphic up. Yep. Okay, you pulled it. Bradford, Moore, Deutscher. Excuse me. Nathan, and obviously Cornett. So those are the ones that pitted. Small, Campbell, Huntley, and Tiller, and the pole sitter Archie stays out. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT
Look, looks
Shelby
like
Cobra pace
Bradford.
car.
Sorry, looks like Bradford might have taken just right sides. He's got half the pit time basically.
Yes, indeed, sir. So different strategies fold here as green flag back out in the air. We are racing once again. Tiller with an amazing restart there, matching Archie to a T, but couldn't capitalize on that outside lane going through 1 and 2. You would think he would have been even with that start that he had, but maybe he just thought he had too good of a start, maybe just back it up a little bit more and tuck in line behind Archie. Don't want to get penalized or nothing for jumping a start, right? So good battle back here. Deutscher with Bradford, and then Small in line going at it behind them side by side. So got to remember Zach just pitted, so he has fresh tires. But they still, you on a short track, Chris, you need at least I feel like we had just finally got the tires heated up on lap 15 before Cornett lost the traction there.
Yeah, for sure. We only had just a short run there, or at this point only 23 of 150. So
I forgot to share the stream.
So what's our pit window looking like tonight, Will?
Our pit window, you can make it in one stop definitely tonight. It is 120 to 125 laps, give or take the pushing you were doing with your car. So it's estimated at I believe it was 124.5 or 124.7, something like that. So that's why I said 125. You may be getting 126. I mean, that's a big if, 2-letter word, but it's got a big meaning behind it. If we can get 125 laps green, which, I mean, if it goes green from here, we have a chance, but just have to wait and see. Good battle going out at the moment for the lead. 4 cars under a blanket, pigs on a blanket at the moment. When do we take them out the oven, Chris? So Archie, the pole sitter and race leader, still leading this race. 26 laps in, working lap 27. Tiller and Brian Huntley working side by side. And then Zach Deutscher worked his way back into 4th position, back inside the top 5. Christopher Campbell's right back there in 5th position. And he's got AB, Aaron Bradford, right behind him as Tiller and Huntley almost rubbing paint, almost sharing some of that wrap. Oh, AB, Aaron Bradford has had a huge catastrophe coming out of turn number 2 and eating the Armco guardrail coming out of turn. Oh, gets back onto the throttle. Oh, very similar to what transpired with what was his name that did that earlier? Who was his name? No. Yes, Huntley getting by Tiller and Deutscher as well. We might need a replay if we can get a replay of how that happened, but great battle going on here at the front of the field as, yeah, there you go, Mr. Producer Man with everything, I tell you. So Tiller just getting tight, walking the dog, and now he just breaks it down, loses his momentum. Huntley going to power around the outside like I talked about earlier, but now he's still fighting back, and oh, he just gets a bit wobbly-bobbly coming out of turn number 4. That's going to allow Huntley and even Zach to capitalize coming out of turn number 2 there. So that's how that transpired. Now back at the live action in just a moment. Oh, okay. Well, hey, at least we get the replays, man. At least you get to see how it happened. Sometimes you don't even get to see that. Archie just overdrove turn 4, and my goodness, almost wiped out Zach. And yeah, overdrove turn 4 exit, came back down the hill, tried to get some of the 60, but man, I tell you what, Zach's replay here, Zach getting around the 21. Now John Tiller, yep, caught up on replays at the moment, Chris. Good to hear it. 36 laps in, are about to be fully complete. It's looking like the Brian and Zach show now, Chris, as we have got over 15 laps complete finally. Green flag running.
Yes, sir. Competitors spreading out amongst the track pretty well, except Huntley and Zach.
Got to remind everybody, in case we're new here, you know, anybody can be a first-time viewer or forget the rules. No fast repairs. I'm getting real good at repeating myself tonight.
Just stressing fast repairs. Just stressing that there is none.
Just yes, exactly.
Emphasis.
No fast repairs in either the Thursday or Saturday BNR Cup Series action, you know, that gets brought to you. So no fast repairs. We have fast repairs in the Truck Series. We have had fast repairs in the past in the Cup Series and other series, but just none in the Cup, because the Cup is supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to be the best of the best, right? If you're driving the Cup cars, oh my goodness, Tiller, I think might have gave, Archie just really loose. I don't know if Tiller gave him a shot or not, but my, oh my, you know, Mayo having some fun on the bayou.
I think he just kind of lost it.
We're going to look at the replay here. Oh, yeah, he kind of lost it on corner entry. Tiller was a bumper away. He could have net coded him. What do you think?
Kind of looks like Archie was already sideways.
Oh yeah, already sideways. Man, I keep share the stream, Willie. There's so much stuff happening.
Let's see. Find a better camera, maybe. Nah, kind of looks like I mean, unless it was a net code like you said, but that thing came right out on him. I think it was just coincidental timing. I don't think he did net code him.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think it was,
sure.
You know. I think
now that we got to look at it a little bit more in depth.
While that's been going on, Huntley and Deutscher still going at it for the lead, with almost 3 seconds ahead of Tiller. So they have broken away. But Zach is not letting Brian take a moment off. He is just on him. Archibald, at risk of losing another position to Chris Campbell right on his back bumper.
So Huntley, Deutscher in an intense battle at the moment. Tiller getting by Archie. That happened a handful of laps ago. And Zach looking to the inside. Coming off turn number 2. He's there. Oh!
Contact.
Touching. Yes, loads of contact.
Still side by side.
Closing in on 50 laps in. We are working lap 49. Zach and Brian side by side for the race lead here. Campbell still running strong inside the top 5. Has a 4th place run going at the moment. Nobody a lap down. 8 cars currently on the lead lap. As Tiller reviewing. Oh, Tiller having a problem. But he locks it up. Oh, is he going to have some toe damage? Is anything going to be askew from that contact? It looks light. It looked like it was light contact, but that's still Armco barrier down there. So that's still, oh man, that's still going to be a rough hit. So Deuscher gets by Huntley. He's now a half a second ahead of Brian. We don't know how that happened because we were reviewing the Tiller incident, but now here's the replay for the pass. As they were really scrapping it up here at the front of the field. Great side-by-side action. Yes, they might have touched once or twice, but that's okay. It's short track racing. It's going to happen. Nobody wrecked each other. Nobody sent each other to the mobile home parking lot or the hot dog stand at the moment. Michael McDowell winning all these poles with this team he's no longer going to race for next year. Love it.
Whoa! What the heck just happened?
So, replay of Archie and Campbell.
What the heck
Archie
happened?
trying.
Let's go on with Archibald. I don't really know what... I don't know. Let's go on board and see what happened there, I guess. Oops. Should be, if I go
Looked
on
like
the right
Archie
driver.
kind of got in the wall coming out of the corner. Like he just
Shifted and the back end came out.
See, I think what Archie's problem is he's shifting from 3rd to 4th. He probably should just keep it in 4th gear. What do you think, Chris? What's your ideology of racing here at North Wilkesboro?
I would think that if anything, you'd be going from 4th to 5th, but you know it's the open setup, so he could be running a gear set that would have him running 3rd and 4th gear. We don't know.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So the gap back to Huntley still a half a second. There is the gap. It's basically 2, maybe 3 car lengths. That's what 3 are. Excuse me, that's what about a half a second looks like here at North Wilkesboro. About 4 or 5 car lengths there. Now the gap opening just ever so slightly. Back here, you have Campbell in 3rd position, Archie in 4th, being attacked by Brandon Moore now as he keeps slip sliding around. Oh, he's sliding down into the inside retaining wall, and he's going to clip. He clips. Who is that? Tiller? No, that was Brandon Moore. That was Brandon Moore that he clipped. No, okay, yes it was.
Oh.
Man, what a hard hit. This is definitely the second caution of the evening, coming out at lap 60. Hard impact. Slip sliding pole sitter here. Sammy Archibald, finally the car gave up the ghost. And wham, blam, thank you, ma'am. thanks for coming, Sammy. This is North
Oh.
Wilkesboro, and it it really spits them out, Chris. You would have thought we were racing at the Monster Mile. You would have thought this was Dover. You would have thought we were racing at Talladega. No, we're not. But what a huge crash.
He didn't even know what happened.
Brandon gets blind. Back it up, and we can see, view the onboard view, and we can see Sammy get loose in front of him, and he just disappears. Let's right on board with Brandon, and whoop, there he goes. Okay, and Brandon, I bet you at this point just probably thinks, okay, well, he's gone. He's and then oh, here he comes. So, man, I mean, just what an unfortunate turn in events here.
One more on the nose of Archibald. Let's see. Just
I
barely
bet you anything it was that shifting from third to fourth that really caught the car out, and it just it didn't like it, Chris. It just wasn't liking it. He almost got by it. I mean, he almost got by it, Chris.
Unfortunately, Archibald will be sitting in the pits for a while now. Like you said, no fast repairs tonight, and Brandon Moore with some pretty ugly nose damage on that car. Hopefully it won't cost him too much. As long as it's not mechanical, I mean, it's short track, well, so.
On the scoring and timing, we have multiple cars one lap down. I don't know why. I guess they took too long in the pits, would be my only reason why they went a lap down. But 3 cars apparently on the lead lap. Man, oh man.
Looks like Chris Cornett has officially retired, but the green flag is back out for the rest of the field. Dorscher takes an early lead over Brian Huntley in second. Chris Campbell's going to take third right there. We've only got 3 cars on the lead lap. Not sure, like you said, Will.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if they were just not able to get back out before the pace car or what happened. But yeah, we only Doischer, Huntley, and Christopher Campbell, the 3 on the lead lap. Then it's Tiller, Small, Line, and Brandon Moore left in this race.
Oh boy, Will, that might be trouble for everyone else, considering how green this race has been. We've only had 2 cautions, and we're almost halfway through. It's been pretty consistently clean, so I mean, even if we'd have to get 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 more cautions for those cars to get back on the lead laps, just getting wave rounds or lucky dogs.
Yeah, not just that, but it's also became a race of attrition. We started with 10 competitors. We are down to only 7. Well, no, AB got back out there. It says Aaron Bradford is 33 laps down. He got back out, but that he doesn't. He's just logging laps at this point. He's just trying to get a better finish. He will be able to pass Sammy at this moment if he keeps logging these laps, right? Because of the amount of damage that Sammy has, it's pretty much the equal damage that Bradford had, if not more. That car was just probably that car is probably done for the day. We probably won't see Sammy back out, I don't think, at all. That is just, anywho. I'm still going to go back to blaming it on the shifting, the third to fourth, especially on the exits like he was trying. Anywho, but better luck next time, Sammy. Yeah, 3 cars, man. It's become a race of attrition. Like I said, we started with 10 competitors. North Wilkesboro, apparently just people don't like this track.
Yeah, I don't know. Just, I mean, it's a tough track, but you know, in a series, if you're committing to be full time, you know, you got to show up and do the tracks you don't like too.
Exactly, I agree with you. So closing in on halfway, we will be halfway next time by. And if you wanted to, Chris, we could crank it up or we could wait a little bit longer. It's up to you. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll let it rip. Zach Deutscher continuing to just run away with the lead right now. Campbell has gotten by Huntley. So I believe Huntley is probably just kind of settling down. And as you talked about earlier, attrition. However, he's got some damage on the right side, and that car is all over the place.
Yeah, I think about just a few laps after we went to our Crank It Up segment, Chris, I think something happened to Brian because he went from being right there with Zach to being like 2.5 and dropping just like I said after we started our Crank It Up. So don't know
Yeah,
what
he's
happened
fighting
to the
loose.
19 machine. Yes, he's fighting an evil
Oh,
car. You know, he clipped the curb.
so one of our
So
fast
he's
cars here
fighting a
tonight in
very
big
evil
trouble.
car.
Josh Small trying to get by him.
It's not for position though, but just trying to get by Brian, who, like I said, I just think he's been in the wall and maybe even have knocked the toe askew, maybe. 60 laps to go in this race. As Campbell in second place, 4.5 seconds behind Zach, so
He is
not
closing.
bad. If we remember, just a couple of weeks ago, Christopher Campbell was our winner at Bristol Dirt on the fixed side of things.
We don't go to the,
anybody?
we don't do the dirt in the fixed or open, do we?
No.
That's a bummer.
Somebody didn't put that on the schedule. We'll play Brandon Moore here. Oh, no.
He was slideways all the way through that corner.
He could still have some ailing damage from getting blindsided from Archie in the 21 machine whenever he had his gnarly shunt.
A lot of these cars are starting to fight loose conditions. It's like Zach almost a little loose off of that corner.
Just a tad bit. Campbell has dropped back a little bit more now, so he had run back down Zach. Everybody, like you said, everybody's gotten to the point in the race to where they have just started fighting their own battles. Basically, they're really fighting the track itself here, it looks like. Excuse me, everybody.
Yeah, they're definitely fighting.
Like
Look at Zach here. He's just leaving it up in fifth gear and just kind of babying the throttle. And it's, I mean, he's still got a 5-second lead.
You don't have anything popped up as like contact or anything like with Brian or anything, any replay with Brian, do you, that we could go to, that maybe we could see where he lost all that time?
I do not have anything that alerts me of contact.
And 4. I'm just gonna go with he had a right side wall moment, because that like you said, the right side looks pretty damaged. So but we both could be wrong. He could just be fighting the track at the moment like everybody else is at the moment as well. Nathan lineup in 4th place after running about, 10th or 9th or 8th all race long, so he's in 4th at the moment.
Yeah, remember he started from the pits. He jumped to the pits on the
yeah.
What do you call it there? The lap, open lap. There.
Yes.
What do you call it? Will?
Warm-up laps.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Tiller in 5th. That rounds out the top 5. You have 4 Fords and a Toyota in the top 5. And then another Ford in 6th position. Chevrolet in 7th. Toyota in 8th position. That is the cars that are running. Archie and Cornette pretty much out of this race. There's supposed to be a Camry in here apparently, but he's in the booth.
Huh.
So that's my little Camry. I bet your wife says the same thing, don't you?
What?
That you're her little canary, don't you? No?
No.
Oh, she needs to. That's like a perfect pet name for you, right? Pet name, nickname. I bet you got called Canary a lot in school, didn't you?
No. I don't think so.
No? Come on, let's be honest. Or did you just zone that part of your life out? You don't care to remember school?
No, I got big ears. They were focused on other things.
All right. People called you Sonar Man, eh?
Dumbo.
Oh. I mean, I'd rather
Twist
be
the knife, Will.
called Dumbo
Golly. PTSD from middle school here.
Hey, I got called Shrek. I got called an ogre. I'm like, okay, well, Ryan Newman's a great compliment. Thank you. I wish I could have been him. I would have won a Daytona 500 and USAC championship and all those other things he accomplished. Of course, they were actually meaning, the cartoon character from the movies.
He got in a little tiff with somebody at the track the other day. Did you see that, Bill?
Tommy Baldwin.
Yeah, that was great, man.
Yeah,
The nuts
he got
on
into
someone
a shoving
to,
match with Tommy.
Yeah, the nuts on someone to go
And
up
he
to
told-
Brian Newman, a big dude like him, and scream
Oh,
F you in his face. He's a big dude.
well, anybody. It's Tommy Baldwin. He's got those cojones because he had cancer not too long ago. So but he owns a Whelen modified team, and he got into an altercation with the team. Like Ryan Newman got into an altercation with Tommy Baldwin Racing's driver, and Tommy Baldwin didn't like it, so Tommy walked over to him, and basically Ryan Newman said, "Hey,
Were you on the track?
Like, don't come over and talk to me. You weren't on the track. You're not driving your own car." And he said, "Until you get back in your car and start driving again, don't come talk to me." And then that's whenever he started, cursing him out because he wouldn't get out of Ryan's face, Tommy, and then Brian shoved him. 40 laps to go here, Chris. 40 or 39 now, so.
Zach Deutscher still 5 seconds ahead. Chris Campbell in second. Huntley, whatever caused everyone to be a lap down, Huntley is pretty fortunate of that because he has fallen. He's just fallen so far off. He's 18 seconds behind Zach in first. He's got plenty of lap cars that have passed him, but not for position, unfortunately for those cars. Line right there, the first car off the lead lap. Josh Small running the good, clean race, sitting there in sixth. About to lose another lap to Zach Deutscher. It's going to put Josh 2 laps down at this point. And Brian in the wall again. Struggling hard. He is just praying for a caution right now. I'm sure a lot of these drivers want to get some fresh tires on there. Got just over 30 laps to go.
Brian would be really praying for a caution because he's definitely in the danger zone of going a lap down to Zach Deutscher right now, the race leader. in the 60 car. He's probably right behind. Yes, he is coming out of the final corner. So just basically a straightaway, give or take length distance, or maybe 2/4 length widths here at North Wilkesboro between Huntley and the race leader. Huntley letting AB go around the outside. Well, he tried, but anywho, trying to stay a foot ahead of Deutscher in the final 30 laps of this race.
No, he probably wants
Hoping
Bradford
to
behind
not-
him because that's just another car between him and Deutscher.
Exactly, but Bradford now looking to the inside.
Huntley is in big trouble.
He's in the danger zone, but hey, this is a good points night for a lot of these fellas because you know, the main points people aren't really here this evening. What is your name again? I'm just kidding, Chris. So yes, had my little self Marty moment from the old ESPN days, or whatever his name is. Anyway, so now Zach is there. Brian's truly in the danger zone. Start playing that Kenny Loggins music or the Jaws music, however you prefer it. So he's really, really fighting that ailing car.
Oh boy, here it is.
Yep. 27 laps remaining. Zach trying to put a lap on the 19 of Brian Huntley.
Deutscher's fighting his car too. He's having a hard time making that pass complete.
It almost looks like they're battling for the lead once again, Chris.
Indeed.
They are not. Hey, I see what you did there. So,
what?
Huntley fighting back on the outside, trying not to be lapped, but Deutscher putting a slide job now, sliding up in front. Oh, Huntley saved it. What a save. He gathered it, burped it a couple of times, no doubt, down the front straightaway, able to save that slippage. So, Huntley, Tiller, line, 1 lap down. Small, 2 laps down. Brandon Moore, 4 laps down. Aaron Bradford, 34 laps down. And a partridge in a pear tree. Anyway, so Christopher Campbell, the only other car besides our race leader, Zach Deutscher. You would have thought this was Ned Jarrett winning at Darlington by 11 laps, or 17, 18, however many laps he won that Southern 500 by that day. But anyway, you would have thought that was this race. No, it is not. It is a different race. Almost 6 seconds back to Christopher Campbell. Can't wait to talk to Christopher in the final 24 laps here, if it stays like it is, if he makes no mistakes. Still 23 laps to go. Plenty of time here to drive yourself into a mistake like we have already seen from a few of these competitors this evening.
I think Brian needs to drop it into 5th and just let it ride. He's got too much RPM for as worn as his tires are.
Exactly, Chris. I agree with that sentiment. You have raced here, Chris. What does it take to be good here around North Wilkesboro?
Skill. I don't know. You gotta find the right line. Well, like we said, don't hit that curb down bottom. The grass is gonna be the end of it for you.
I've seen a lot of racing from North Wilkesboro. I've never got to race on any video game or a sim that has had North Wilkesboro. There's been a few tracks that were similar to North Wilkesboro that were fantasy tracks, right? In NASCAR, Chase for the Next Fill, 2005 and 6, Total Team Control and so forth, that were fantasy tracks that were similar to North Wilkesboro, but wasn't exactly North Wilkesboro. But I think like they had Slinger in there as like a fantasy track. But anyway, I have seen a lot of racing from here because I'm a racing enthusiast. I'm a raceaholic, and during the off season or just whenever, I'll just look up an old vintage race and I'll watch it, right? And it'll be sometimes a North Wilkesboro race, and it really looks like you really have to back up the corners here. It's a lot of can be out of throttle time, letting it glide through the corner, rolling it, sometimes just getting out of the throttle, maybe right after the start finish line, pointing the car into the corner, and sometimes just burping it in the center, just giving it, maybe, or just like I said, letting it roll till all the way off a corner exit. As you see the aerial view of how the race is truly shaped, so 3 and 4. A bit oddly different from 1 and 2, as turn 4 really narrows up on that exit, but you can really see people take advantage and try to run the bottom flat down there. But on that outside lane, it really narrows up. It's a very uphill, downhill track for it being an oval. So you got to be careful with the uphill, downhill braking and letting it roll into the uphill, downhill parts. It used to be a dirt track, like it was farm. It was farm fields. It was an old. It was an old dirt track, the early years, and about 5 years later, after it was established, it turned into 5 or 8 years later. It turned. They paved it. Chris is what I'm trying to say.
Looks like Brandon Moore's having a bit of a handling issue with that car. I saw him getting loose off of that last corner.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, we've noted, documented, and seen he is probably still having some damage from getting collided with, blindsided with by Archie in that second caution of the evening. And this is a replay. Gonna have to go rewind that, Art. There we go. So the car just gets away from him coming out of turn number 2, locks it down luckily, and then gets it back going. No caution coming out though, unfortunately, for those that were just trapped 1 lap down to try to maybe get a lap back here.
I think Nathan Lyon had an issue around the same time.
Very similar to what happened to him earlier in the race that didn't bring out a caution before Cornette spun at lap 15.
Here we go, Will. 10 to go.
Yes, 10 to go, brought to you by, think of something up, Chris, I don't know. Brought to you by 1-5 Studios, I suppose. So, anywho. Christopher Campbell, 7 1/4 seconds back from Zach Deutscher. This will be back-to-back wins in the BNR Cup Series for Zach Deutscher if you count this past Thursday night. I know it's open, fixed, open, but it kind of counts because Mark Martin won 6 consecutive NASCAR Touring races at one time back in the 90s. Even though they were Busch and Cup Series races, they were still 6 consecutive races in a row. But oh well, whatever.
Gotta say, Brian definitely got lucky tonight. Even though he lost the lead lap, still Tiller is too far back from him to even make that distance up. He's about at pit exit, and Huntley's in turn 3. It's almost a track between them. Half track, excuse me. Deutscher just continuing to be dominant, as he has done almost all night. Over 7 seconds over Chris Campbell. Campbell having a great night himself. Regardless of that whole off the lead lap incident, whatever happened with that, Campbell is still up here keeping in close with Deutscher, and he's been the only one that's really been keeping with him.
Yeah, staying within 10 seconds at least, right? Staying under 10 seconds. And, Bradford having another moment, but luckily able to keep it off the armco this time. I got to really say,
Oh,
give
Bradford
Zach
went off track again.
got to. No matter what you want to say, Zach has really improved his short track package, his short track game, his short track skill. Like I said, if you knew Zach as long as I did, he was not a short track guy, but he is slowly trying to turn into a short track guy. Maybe if the field was a wee bit more competitive, more stout, or had some more people in it, Zach may not have ran away with it like he did tonight once he got out in that clean air. But
White flag.
yes, white flag is out. Good run again by Campbell. Campbell was up here in the top 5 all night, so good podium finish for him. Coming through 3 and 4 there, Chris. Looks like it's going to be the Zach show here tonight.
Zach Deutscher takes home the win. And second place, Chris Campbell coming out of turn number 4.
Huntley already gets the checkered for 3rd. That is the podium finishers. Tiller 4th, Nathan Line in 5th, Josh Small in 6th, Brandon Moore 7th, Bradford finishes in 8th, so top 10 still for AB.
Top finishers, Zach Deutscher going to take home the win. Chris Campbell in 2nd. Brian Huntley holds on to 3rd. John Taylor is 4th. Nathan Line 5th. Josh Small 6th. Brandon Moore is 7th. Aaron Bradford comes home in 8th. Samuel Archibald 9th. And Chris Cornett is going to round out the top 10. We're going to take a quick break. And we'll be back with your top finishers. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro. We've got our top finishers with us now. Let's kick it off with Brian Huntley. Brian, bringing it home in 3rd place tonight. Tell us about your race and just tell us what happened there. We saw you falling off, and it looks like you were fighting that car for quite a while. Tell us about it.
Well, the true thing that happened was the right front wheel was broke. So, and I didn't get a meatball, ironically enough, so I just stood out and hope for a best. That was,
Did you just get in the wall?
I hit the wall pretty daggone hard, but no meatball or nothing, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stay out. But with the broke car, I was still a little bit faster than Zach. I was keeping up with him with a broke car, but I don't know what it was. I guess I hit that awkward bump in 1 and 2 coming off, and it upset the front of the car. Nothing that Zach did wrong, no aero block and nothing, had nothing to do with it, because you obviously saw me in the front riding behind the cars getting a little loosey-goosey. I would always make love with that bump going into 1. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened. The front of the car just snapped loose, and I tried to get off of it, but and you know how well these Gen 7 cars are. They're a doozy, so, or a humdinger, whatever you want to call it. But
Annoying.
yeah, I was fighting it. I absolutely was. I was fighting it. That last, I don't know, what was it, 40 laps, 30 laps?
It was it was about 45 laps or something to that effect, Brian.
Yeah, but
There you go, Willie. Unplug the damn.
it was
Sorry.
uh it was a loose car with a broke wheel. But anyway, overall tonight, how I thought my race went, um, pretty good. The car was handling really good. Like I mean, like literal, really good. Like it was on rails. I could put the car anywhere, but once it got behind a few cars, like I said, I had to start adjusting to the P1 and P2 with their brake line because I would brake a lot later than them. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I adapted to it and I started getting used to their marks and then hitting my marks as well. So and I end up doing that, watching Sammy and Tiller battle for a while kind of helped me out a little bit. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to try something clever here. Because we know 9 times out of 10, guys, the outside line really doesn't work. But I was making it work for a little bit. That was my only way to get around Tiller, but I saw Mr. Tiller there get loose to my inside, and I feel very bad for him and Brandon and all them. I didn't see what happened, but I have to go back and look.
Yeah, you're gonna get a good laugh, but then you're gonna have to put like the admin league owner thing on, and maybe I don't know what to
No, no.
really. No, you don't really because it was just a racing incident, but you are going to get a good laugh out of it because Archie just goes on the slide. He eats barrier and then it shoots him back up into Brandon. Brandon like almost missed it, man. Like it was anywho, like it was tragedy. I think Archie, I think he messed up his run whenever he kept shifting from third to fourth, third to fourth, third to fourth,
Oh, he was
and
shifting.
yeah, he was,
I was
yeah, he was.
the whole time. I was in fourth. I didn't even touch third really. I didn't even get down any lower than that.
Yeah,
Until
Chris
obviously
thought you
we
should have
had to
went to
hit.
fifth.
I couldn't. It was stuck in fourth. It was a 4 gear set.
Uh, yeah, see, Chris, you were right. Some people out there only had maybe fourth or going back to, maybe that's what it was built to do, right? With these
A
open
lot of
setups here,
a lot of these setups for let's see. I'm gonna give you
short
guys a
tracks.
little. Yeah.
Exactly,
So
they're only
iRacing,
four
how
gear
iRacing
setups.
does it. Yeah. So how I regular iRacing fix that does on short tracks are 4 gears. All short tracks are 4 gears. Um, mile and a half and up are 5 gears. Just for your next gen cars. I know Chris does a lot of what do you guys do? Late models. I know late models are 4. Yeah. Technically, these are the only cars that have 5 gears, but just short tracks with these Gen 7 cars are 4 gears on all short tracks. And that's
I
how
bet.
all setup shops make them. 4 gears.
Well, no, I think Trans Am cars only have four gears.
Yeah. Where are we at next week?
I was going to say
Aha! Rockingham.
Rockingham. So yes, Rockingham, The Rock.
You
So
smell what the rock's cooking.
yeah, exactly. So you gonna hopefully gonna be good at Rockingham, Brian? What's the hopes for Rockingham?
Practice, 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 buddy. Rockingham is either good for me or it's not. We have the old surface,
Yes, the old
so
surface, just like you have the old surface here with North Wilkesboro, and it's
yes,
going to be one heck of a bumpy thing. I mean, the repave don't look too bad, like it looks
a lot
good, but
smoother,
it
a lot smoother.
it's still well, yeah, it looks a lot smoother, but it still looks like it has those bumps in it, right? Like it
Not
still
as
looks
bad
like
as the old track.
it, yeah, but not as, yeah, exactly, but it still looks like it withheld some characteristics
Yes.
to the
Oh yeah.
track, right? Is what I was
Yeah.
trying to say.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
un-
Yeah.
it almost looked like North Wilkesboro became a whole different track whenever they repaved it, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
But the
uh,
mindset going into Rockingham is not to
yes,
do
sir.
what I did here tonight.
Right.
Be a little bit consistent with the times and hit my marks. I'm gonna do a lot of practice because Unfortunately, we have the old set, which should probably still work. So we'll try it. Just be consistent, hit my marks, don't do anything silly, and try not to lose the front of the car again.
Once Zach got up there to you guys, before you guys started battling for the lead, even whenever you were just watching the John Tiller and Archibald battle unfold, he drove up, and then everybody, like
That's
it was
fine.
like pigs in a blanket, right?
Yeah.
You guys were all up on each other, and then the battle that you and Zach had for the lead was great. There was a little bit of contact, but it's short track racing, right? You expect a little bit. Nobody dumped each other. It was
Nope.
fair and clean.
Yes,
So,
sir.
final thoughts, shout outs, anything else, or what else would you like to add?
So I like to start off with you two. Um, you guys do a hell of a job every night on Saturday, doing the best you can with the limited amount of cars we have. Hopefully, it'll increase as we go on into next season, which is what we're hoping for. Recruiting was a little short this season, so we're gonna be on top of it next season. But you guys do an awesome job. You guys kick ass every Saturday. My admin crew, Josh Bradford, JP when he's here, uh, Christopher Campbell, a big help with a lot of these guys coming out every week doing what they do, and the drivers can never go wrong with the drivers when they do good things when they want to, and sometimes silly things that try to make you guys get a laugh out in the booth, but we try to keep you and Chris entertained for sure. I just want to thank everybody in the BNR crew. We work hard every week, trying to do what we like to do. Unfortunately, we will never be able to do it in real life unless you're Chris. Starting off with his carts, which is happy to see that for you. Absolutely, I'm glad you're back into that. And same thing with Carter Jacob, another one of my admins. He's starting to do all that now on the weekends, Saturdays. So that's why he unfortunately isn't here on Saturdays. But just everybody for coming out, tuning in to the 1-5 Studio broadcast on Saturday nights, chit chatting with them, and us out here when I'm away from broadcasting on Tuesdays and then Thursdays. Come out here and just race with these guys. You know, give them a run for their money. So I guess we'll head into Rockingham and hopefully bring her home in the top three again. So only time will tell.
Well, best of luck to you, Brian. Thanks for the kind words and sentiments, and we'll be chit chatting with you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, dang it, he always moves himself. It messes me up. But let's bring in our second place
Right.
finisher,
Like
Chris
the night you moved
Campbell.
me.
Chris Campbell bringing home in second place here tonight. Great job keeping that car up there. You showed great speed, keeping pretty close distance up there with Zach. I know Will's been dying to talk to you. Tell us about your night, Chris.
Oh man, I'd need to go to the casino after a night like tonight. That was just pure luck, missing all the carnage and wind up staying on the lead lap like I did. And then I could tell I was burning my stuff up trying to stay with Zach. He still had 4 seconds on me, but I was watching the relative and he wasn't getting away from me. And then all of a sudden I seen him getting away from me, so I knew I was just gonna try to keep him tearing it up.
Fantastic, though. Congratulations. You've had some great momentum and just, I guess, like what you just said, luck on your side the past handfuls of races here lately. Uh, Campbell, so just big congratulations finishing second. I know it probably don't mean a whole lot after having a small field, but it's North Wilkesboro. It's a tough track, so it's still something to hang the hat on, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, small field or not. I mean, it was after practice, especially seeing how the track was going to be, how slick it was going to be, and then kind of making some last minute adjustments on that setup I was using, which just it was straight McConey setup. And so, I mean, yeah, just no matter how big the field was, it was still, you know, difficult to get around there tonight and keep the wheels underneath you.
Rockingham's next week, Campbell. So, what's the thought process for that?
Stay out of them bumps, and try to stay on the lead lap and hopefully get as lucky as this season's been a big turnaround for me. Last year was rough. It seemed like every week I was getting tied up into something. This season's been a big turnaround for me. I've had 2 wins, I think, between this. I don't know if one of them was on Saturday and one of them was on Thursday. So, it's been a blast.
It has been, and it's been a blast watching you, like avoid the carnage, avoid the chaos, and get it into the podium positions or up in victory lane this season. Like you said, it was a struggle last season, and hopefully, there's only a few races left, like 4, I believe. So hopefully, you can get the best points finish possible for this season. Maybe, I haven't looked at the points in a while, but maybe get up there and contend for a championship this season. If not, there's always next season for that, right? But hey, you were really getting so much. Like you said, you were working at this, and you were getting a whole heck of a lot better, Campbell.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all broadcasting and putting on a good show like y'all do every week, every Saturday night. No matter the car count, I mean, it still puts on a good show, and we appreciate it.
Oh yeah, I just think it might have been the track tonight. It's okay. We can move on. We'll be at Rockingham. Hopefully, we'll get a good turnout for Rockingham. Hopefully, and final more shout outs and final thoughts and things, Campbell.
I just want to, thank y'all and thank BNR for putting it on and all the admins that put in the work, because it's a lot of work to admin one of these leagues. It's day in and day out, and thank my wife for putting up with the BS and me sitting here doing this.
Now, before we let you go, I just want to get your comparison real quick. Now, Richmond is very similar in a way to North Wilkesboro. How different do you have to drive Richmond and North Wilkesboro?
It's it almost like you said drives identical. You just got to hit your marks on entry and know when you can and put the throttle down. Because I mean, if you get on the throttle just a hair too much in both tracks, and I mean you're going around.
Yes, sir. Well, just congratulations on the great podium second place finish tonight, Campbell. Hopefully, you can keep gathering up as much points as possible, get the best finish for the season overall, and we'll be talking to you later. Thanks for talking to us tonight.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Okay. All right, and now let's bring in our winner, Zach Deutscher, putting it on the podium in victory lane tonight. Zach, you had a heck of a run, caught up to the field, and then kind of just ran away with it. Tell us about the night.
Well, I was never expecting to win this. First of all, I was never expecting to win this. First of all, I was really bad in practice. My car didn't feel really good, so I made a couple different tweaks, and man, this car was hooked up on the bottom. I cannot say enough, and I cannot thank Brian enough for the base setup and my little tweaks. Oh, this car was unbelievable.
It looked like you were pretty much on rails for the most part, Zach. I mean, congratulations overall, getting the win here at North Wilkesboro. I've been seeing you lately become a real good short track racer. I remember how you wasn't really too fond of short tracks, whenever we first met about 4 or 5 years ago. But now you really have turned the mentality around. Just what does it take? What has it taken you to get better at these short tracks, Zach?
A lot of practice on my spare time. I do a lot of test sessions on iRacing and short tracks. Biggest thing short tracks people gotta understand is tire wear. The more you push into a corner, the more you're gonna wear. It's all about diamonding the corners again, as straight off the corners as you can, in my opinion. But yeah, I love short track. I love all tracks now. There's really not no tracks I hate anymore.
Right, exactly, and that's kind of what you need is like a racing mentality. You gotta at least like every track or love every track. You can't just be like, oh, we're going here. I hate this place. Like you have to love or like everywhere you go. Um, what were you struggling with that we didn't maybe see or that?
Uh,
Go ahead, Zach.
I would say I was a little understeer. I seen a lot of people were really loose on the corners. I don't know. I was in fifth gear, so I never really got that loose. But for the most part, the littlest I dealt with is understeer. But other than that, like you saw, my car was on rails. I really didn't even behind the car. I didn't notice too much wake or dirty air or nothing.
Right. Yeah, we saw you started shotgun on the field. You worked your way up to fifth in the opening, I believe it was 15 laps of the race, right? The first caution of the race. I think you had already got to fifth. And then after that, the restart, you just were slicing and dicing, right? You and Brian had a tremendous battle for the lead. And then you got in the clean air. Then you started to drive away, right? So, Rockingham's next week. If you're here next week for Rockingham, what's the thought process next Saturday for Rockingham?
Consistency and win the dang thing. Always going for the win.
Yep, I mean, it's a bit of a bumpy track. You know, maybe kind of steer away from the bumps if you can. Kind of do what you were doing here, or yes, kind of have a similar strategy as far as like diamonding the corners at Rockingham. But what's final thought, shout outs, anything else, Zach, before we let you go celebrate this win?
And you guys put on a great show broadcasting. It's always fun watching you guys while racing. Shout out to you guys big time. Brian again for giving me that base up. Man, this car was unbelievably good. My friends and family watching, my team, Aerokinetics. That's about all I can think about this league. Great league. If you want to join and have some fun, man, I'm having a good time and a great night. Thank you guys again.
Well, thank you for chit-chatting with us about your victory here, Zach, and we'll catch up with you later, bud.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at North Wilkesboro. Pretty good night here tonight. More on the short and sweet side with just a couple of cautions and a smaller field, but still some, like you said, a battle of attrition, I guess, here tonight. See who can last the longest, really. And Zach Deutscher taking it home.
Yes, sir, indeed. I agree with you on that. Great race overall, 2 cautions.
But that's going to do it for us here tonight. Will, it's always good to have you in the booth. We'll see you next week. And that is going to do it for us here at 1-5 Studios. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you at the next track.